Tribes is very, very, very important. Tribes law, we basically have to discuss the meaning of the word tribe, because there are certain attributes on the basis of which we decide that this is a tribe. What are the attributes? Like they live in forest or hilly areas. They have very primitive way of living. Community living is more prevalent in tribes. They give a lot of importance to kinship. They have their own language or script. At times their language may have script, may not have scripts. So itla we have to discuss about the tribes. Then we have to discuss the classification of tribes. There is a geographical classification, there is a racial classification. Atla we have to a language based classification. If geographical classification koste, northeast is considered as a separate belt, central India, south India. Atlage when we talk about racial, we talk about mongoloid, asteroid. We have to understand the different classifications that are usually used in India for tribes. Then we have to understand classification in terms of government welfare schemes. What I'm trying to tell you is tribes is basically a social word, but when it comes to law, we call them as STs, scheduled tribes. Okay, scheduled tribes law, there is another subcategory which is called as primitive tribal groups or particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Very, very, very important, because in this budget, this year's budget, a massive scheme has been launched by the government of India for PVTGs. So PVTGs is a subcategorization within STs. Understand that tribe is a social word. When it comes to the legal recognition, we call them as scheduled tribes, and a tribe has to be declared as a scheduled tribe formally to avail all the safeguards and benefits that the government is giving for them. That is the meaning of STs. So we have to discuss about PVTGs. When I discuss about PVTGs, I have to discuss about the commissions related to them, the recommendations of these commissions very briefly. I have to tell you when this classification has come into existence, why, and so on. What are the features of PVTGs? On what basis does the government recognize an ST, a scheduled tribe, as PVTG? Ivanni we are going to cover. Tarvata, ఇందులో a very important part of it would be PESA and FRA. PESA is Panchayat Raj Extension for Scheduled Areas Act. Briefly, you have to know the provisions of this, and Forest Rights Act, you have to know the provisions of this. This actually will also be a part of polity because it is related to local self-government. Forest Right Act law, you have to know who is covered under the act, when did it come, why did it come, and all that. I'm going to tell you from the perspective of what all questions can be asked. And in provisions cheppinappude, I'll briefly tell you where all questions can be asked. And provisions law, another important part. In constitutional, we are going to include briefly the provisions given to tribes under 5th and 6th schedule. For example, under 5th schedule, you have a tribal advisory committee. But under the 6th schedule, you have regional district councils and regional tribal councils. So what will be the role of a TSC? What will be the role of a DC and RC? Who constitutes a TSC? Who constitutes a district council and a regional council? Ivanni, I'm going to briefly tell you whatever is important for your exam from the 5th and 6th schedule will be covered. This again comes under polity, but I'm going to cover it here because it is a very important part of understanding tribes. I think correlated kaakapoina, not really related to tribes, but can be loosely connected to tribes, is a topic called ethnicity. Ethnic is basically race based. Originally, when the word ethnic came into existence, it was on the basis of race. But today, ethnic is attributed to a homogeneous group. The homogeneity and common ga unna group. Some common feature. It could be region based, it could be religion based, it could be culture based. So ethnicity, the meaning of ethnicity has undergone a lot of change. It has become more broader. Now we are going to discuss for ethnicity is a newly added topic. We are going to, it's in a topic, peddadem gaadu. For this we are going to discuss the meaning, characteristics. Ethnic conflicts in India is very, very important. And Manipur is still boiling because of ethnic conflicts in India. So we have to know what is an ethnic conflict, why does it happen, important ethnic conflicts in recent times, what are the measures taken by the government. All these are important from the perspective of ethnicity. So we discuss tribes, we have to cover these topics. Remember, tribes is given under Unit 1 in your syllabus. Provisions related to tribes is given under Unit 3, and ethnicity is a topic listed under Unit 1 of your syllabus. So when you read tribes, you ensure that you cover all this. Along with all this, I'm going to also discuss what is called as denotified tribes in India. Denotified tribes are not tribes. They include SCs, BCs also. Denotified tribes have been in news constantly. So current affairs perspective lo, social ka I have to cover this topic, though it is not directly mentioned, because anyways it comes under current affairs. I'm going to tell you who are denotified tribes. I'm going to tell you the scheme related to them. I'm going to tell you the recent measures, commissions associated with them. So I'm going to cover all important facts related to denotified tribes along with tribes. This is about the topic tribes.